The socio-economic fabric of China's industrial paradigm is experiencing a phase of severe strife and discontent. The tremors of this unrest are vividly apparent in the rising swell of worker protests that have surfaced across the nation, largely due to increasing incidents of wage arrears and the clamor for improved labor rights. Notable media outlets across China, along with a plethora of user-generated content on social media platforms, are bearing witness to these escalating tensions. The spectrum of these demonstrations encompasses a myriad of industries, but particularly poignant are the scenes at the Chongqing Zhongyuan Huiji Biotechnology Co., Ltd. Biotechnology Company, where protests have not only voiced the desperation of the workers, but also led to direct confrontations with the enforcement arms of the Chinese Communist Party. This surge in social upheaval runs parallel to the distressing trend of factory shutdowns, as observed in regions like Guangzhou, where a staggering figure of 1,800 factories have sealed their gates. The ripple effects of this are multifaceted, encompassing the distress of lost livelihoods and cascading layoffs, engendering further protests and exacerbating the unemployment crisis. According to the China Labor Bulletin, a watchdog organization that tracks labor disputes, the first half of 2023 alone has borne witness to 741 labor rights protests, a number alarmingly close to the 2022 annual total of 830 incidents. This statistic is not just reflective of a temporary surge, but indicative of a deeper malaise within the Chinese economy, strained by the dual exigencies of spiraling raw material costs and a competitive global market that is increasingly shutting doors on Chinese exports. On top of that, social injustice in China is on the rise. Starting from April 2022, multiple rural banks in Henan, including Yuzhou Shiminsheng Rural Bank, froze depositors' accounts without notice, blocking withdrawals and transfers. Tens of billions of yuan belonging to over 400,000 depositors have been inaccessible for over 600 days. Massive protests have happened since then. On December 26th, in Sichuan Suining, many medical staff climbed out of the window to ask for wages. The steep decline in export value witnessed since June 2022 is accentuated by continuous contraction in production outlooks marked by China's Purchasing Managers' Index, PMI, persisting below the threshold level of 50. The electronics and garments sectors, primarily situated in the globally connected province of Guangdong, fare as the most impacted thus far, with the number of protests within these sectors accounting for over half of all manufacturing sector demonstrations documented by the China Labor Bulletin in the concerned timeframe. The multitude of these protests are deeply rooted in the phenomenon of factory relocations and closures, a dire economic trend that is forcing workers into the streets to advocate for their compensations and overdue salaries. Moreover, in the electronics sector, the diversity is more pronounced, as worker demands transcend mere monetary recompense to encompass grievances over job insecurity and the absence of adequate compensation in the face of relocations and shutdowns. The situation reached a critical juncture. On November 4, 2023, hundreds of owners of the Guanlan International City Community in Linking City, Liaocheng City, Shandong Province, went to the Linking municipal government for a rally and held banners to protest against the developer's lack of heating. The authorities sent a large number of police to the scene. Another video message shows that on November 22, 2023, Yitai, Langfang, Hebei, the protesters chanted, "Give me back my hard-earned money." Also on December 5, 2023, the owners of an unfinished building in Jinshui District, Zhengzhou, Henan gathered to demonstrate holding A4 papers with "Mesheng, give me back my life." Moreover, the predicament is compounded by the fact that even civil servants, traditionally buffered from the volatility of the private sector, find themselves entangled in salary cutbacks, feeding into a broader governance crisis. The extent of this upheaval is not limited to the private sector, as per reports from sources like Voice of America, public servants are experiencing significant cuts in earnings, with some local housing authority employees in the eastern city of Nantong facing drastic deductions in their annual bonuses. These instances encapsulate the multifaceted crisis currently enveloping the Chinese economy and governance. Protests for unpaid wages highlight not only the immediate plight faced by workers, but also point to systemic issues within China's economic and political structure. The CCP's efforts to suppress discontent indicate a troubling undercurrent within the fabric of China's labor market dynamics, where the rights of workers are being thrust into the spotlight amid an environment of diminishing job security and governmental stability. The phenomenon of extended leave as a tactical avoidance of wage protests represents a chilling new development in labor relations and an implicit acknowledgement of the severity of China's unfolding economic crisis. It has become abundantly clear that the manufacturing core of the world's factory is under considerable duress. The repercussions of such widespread industrial tumult are not only confined to economic dimensions, but also hold far-reaching implications for the social fabric and governance of China, as the CCP confronts the mammoth task of mitigating the unease of its working populace amidst a backdrop of economic deceleration.